And some of what I think is important here is that, first and foremost, that power is always a part of relationships, and that those who are most powerful have greater responsibility, and that there are tasks of the powerful and the privileged and tasks of the subjugated that have to be performed in order for the relationships to be viable relationships. So if I were to sort of walk you through then what some of the tasks of the privilege are, that for the task of the privilege, first and foremost it means that, that when one is in a privileged position, one is skilled at and effective at drawing the distinction between intentions and consequences. Because what happens is that we believe that because a behavior is well-intentioned, that there are no consequences. Well, you can have very pure, well-intentioned behavior that render impure consequences. And the province, and intentionality is often the province of the privilege. So I know I'm speaking from my privileged position when someone points out to me an infraction and my response is, that wasn't my intention. When that happens, that's a conversation stopper, if the conversation is occurring between the privileged and the subjugated. Because what I would hope for is a person in a privileged position would address consequences and not intentionality. But all too often what gets addressed is intentionality. Something I was talking about a couple of days ago with another group is another thing for the task of the privilege is to not confuse, again, explanation and justification. Because what happens is that, that we tend to believe that if there is an egregious behavior, if you will, for which there's no justification, we believe, therefore, that there's no explanation. And so the absence of justification does not mean the absence of explanation. So if you have someone who's done something horrific that is unconscionable and is 100% unjustifiable, it still doesn't mean that it's lacking in explanation. And so that what we have to look for from that privileged position is what is the explanation? Because finding explanation doesn't exonerate the person from the lack of justification. But somehow we get those confused and we think that one has anything to do with the other.